Then we get a huge list of select menu item type. And we can see here under the green arrow we have internal links. If I go to the next green arrow, we have, sorry, I wanted to click that. Go back to the main menu. I click on new. We have internal links, which would represent articles within our Joomla content. We have context, which would be context in Joomla. We have news feeds, polls, a search, a user, web links, and wrapper. We can do external links. We can do a separator, or we can do an alias. I will start off with linking to an article. And then we get a new list, and this is quite an extensive, how to say, chapter, because we have all kinds of ways to link to an article. Say that we have archived our articles, which I will come at a later stage. We can also make a link to our archived articles. We have an article and then linking to an article layout, which would be the most commonly used if you want to have a link and you only want to link it to one certain article. Then we would choose article layout. We have an article submission layout. That would mean our menu would lead to a certain form, and on that form people can write a new article, and that would be registered users. Registered users can write a new article and they can submit that article. Then we have a category blog layout. That would mean a compilation of articles will be under that menu and in a blog layout, and we can set it to show in one column or 2 or 3 columns. We can set it how many on the front page need to be shown. Then we have a category list layout. That would mean we just get the titles of all articles in a certain category and then list it. We have a front page blog layout. I would say under your home menu it's commonly used to have the front page blog layout. We have a section blog layout. We'll come to that later, but a section contains different categories. So if we make a section blog, we grab all categories within that section, and a regular section layout. We have contacts, again leading to contacts within Joomla. We can use news feeds, better known as RSS. We can make a link to a certain poll we can create. We can link to a search page. We can link to one existing user. We can link to web links, and that's also what we'll come to later. Under components we have web links. We can put tons and tons of web links there, and we could make a menu link to that page. And a wrapper. A wrapper is you call upon an outside website page, and Joomla will show it within your website, so that can be convenient sometimes. We have an external link. That would mean that by clicking the link on your Joomla website, people would go outside your website to that certain link. A separator is just like, it could be a dash or a vertical bar, and it makes a separation between one and another menu item. And an alias, I will come to that at a later stage. For now, I will choose an article layout, and I give it a title, and we can give it an alias, and I would advise not to fill it in, because once we save it, it will create the alias based on the title you gave it, and you don't have to fill that in. Display in. I want to have it in test menu, but should you have made a little mistake, you can always say like, okay, I want it in main menu or whatever. I want it in test menu. And this is the first menu item we are creating, so it will always be the parent item. When we create more menus, we can decide if the menu we are creating, if it needs to become a parent item or a child menu. Published. We set it on yes. The ordering is not possible yet because this is the first menu item in test menu, so we can't order it yet. Access level. Do you want to have your menu publicly available or only be shown to registered users? Or special, that would be the administrators and such. On click. Open in parent window with browser navigation, new window with browser navigation, or new window without browser navigation. I would say you want to have people stay in your Joomla website, so keep it on default parent window with browser navigation. So we've run through all those items, and now it is time to select our article. And as you can see, a page opens up and we get a list of all our current articles. So a little trick is that when you want to create a website, you often have a certain idea of what menu items you want. And when you first start with Joomla, often it's like, okay, I'm going to create the menus first and then link all kinds of stuff to those menus. That's where you go wrong with Joomla, because it's the other way around. You first need to have certain articles, and there's a workaround for it, but starting with the basics, you first need to create your articles and then create your menus, and that will be easier to build your Joomla website. For now, I will just choose one, let's say Joomla Facts. I click on it, and as you can see here, it shows me Joomla Facts. Then the parameters, and it's easier for now to just save them on use global, or let all items here stay on use global, and I will go through them one by one once we have created a link. And the same thing I will do for parameters system. So what I'll do is I will click on save. And as I mentioned, I created a new menu, test menu, but we noticed that in our module manager, again, menus go hand in hand with modules. In our module manager, our test menu is not enabled yet, and we can decide in which position we want it. I will just click on enable, leave it completely the way it is, and then look at my front page, and as you can see here, it shows me a test menu article. And you can also see that it's very different compared to the other menus. So I go to the module and I'm going to peek at main menu, what made it that it has been set the way it is. So we have a menu name, main menu, the menu style is list. I go to advanced parameters, and there I see one little thing, and that's the so-called module class suffix. That is template related. So each template could have different things here, but when creating the menu, test menu, I'm pretty sure that it did not do the so-called module class suffix. So I will use that same suffix and then save my article or save my menu. Then I refresh again, and now you can see that the test menu has the same look and feel as the other menu, so that's what I want. And if I click the article, I can see that my menu appears, or my article appears. I also see a few other things like written by and Saturday, 9th of August when it has been published. Last updated. I see icons here, and those are all things that we can set in the menu that represents the article or represents the link to that article. So I will click on my article and I will go to the parameters component. And I will now go through each step by step. It tells me show unauthorized links. I will leave that on use global. Show article title. What happens if we say no? And to stay in the page, I don't save it, but I apply it, which means it gets saved, but I keep the same window. Show title, and it was on Joomla Facts, and when I now refresh my page, you can see that it doesn't show the article title anymore. So that was an easy one. Show article title on no removes the article title. Of course, when we have title linkable but we do not show the article, then we will not see anything. So I will turn it back on global. I refresh my page again. There is my article title again. And title linkable, I click that on yes and apply my page again. As you can see, when I now hover over my article, there's nothing to see. If I refresh my page, you can see that the article title is now linkable. This is convenient when you're showing your articles in a blog style. It becomes a bit useless when you see a full article and your full article is linkable. What happens is that you'll link to the same article. So convenient in blog style, not when you're already showing your full articles. Show intro text. I will come to that at a later stage, but in Joomla you can write intro text and write your full text. And if you want to decide if on your blog it will show the intro text and say that you want to go further and link from your blog to the full article, you can decide to hide the intro text because that was already shown on the blog, so people don't get double text that way. Section name, I will turn it on show and click on apply. I refresh my page, and under our title you can now see that it is showing the section where this article is in now. Go back again. Same as with the title, we can make the section title linkable, and we can also show the category title, and I will also do that right away. And I refresh my page. Now you can see that next to the title itself we have the section and the category which belongs to that section, and they are linkable, which means I can go to the entire section from this, or I can go to the entire category from this. And as you can see, these things are all automated, so that might be very convenient, or it's a convenient way for showing that. Then we have a list with author name, created date, modified date, show navigation, read more link, article rating. Um, the author name, that's this one. This is the author date and the last modification date. So I will, because they are showing, I will now say hide. And click on apply. And when I now refresh my page, you can see that those items that were showing are now hidden and it's not showing them anymore. Then we have show navigation. Should you have like several pages, then at the bottom it will show page 1 of 7, and also you can show or hide that. And we have article rating or voting. Let's put it on show and see what that gives us. I refresh my page and here you can see a certain user rating comes up and I can rate the article. Thanks for rating. User rating, and you see the little orange things there. Then icons. We have a PDF icon, print icon, email icon and hits. Let's say we want to hide the icons and I click on apply, and you have to watch this part here. I refresh my page, and because we hide icons it makes it text, but they're still there. So what we can do is also, or not can do but need to do, is PDF icon hide, print icon hide, email icon hide, and I click on apply again. I refresh my page, and now you can see those icons are gone. I go back again. Hits. Let's say show the amount of hits. I refresh my page and basically nothing happens. So where does it show my hits? That is something you can see in the list layout. This is the so-called list layout, and here you can also decide whether you want to show or hide hits. So basically for an article itself, hits doesn't work, but if your menu would be a list layout, you can work with this. And then for each feed item, that would mean we can have a RSS, and we can set it to show or not show and see what happens. Then we go to the parameters. It shows the title, and next to the title of the article itself, we can give it a separate page title so it doesn't take over that article title. I click on my link here, and then you can see that I get basically a kind of a double title, first starting with let's see what this does. And when it's empty it won't show anything. When you just don't want to show it, leave it empty or click on apply. Refresh my page and it's gone again. Page class suffix, we will come to that at a later stage. And we can also have little menu images. I will use this little menu and click on apply, and the menu image would show there. It isn't showing now. That could be due to the setting in the menu itself, so we'll skip that for now. So that is just one article and what you can do with a regular article layout. And we will go to a different way of or a different menu item type, and say that you have your article, but you decide like, okay, I don't like that menu. What you can do, and in the previous versions of Joomla 1.0, that was always a nuisance, and now within an already existing menu you can change the type. So what happens if I change type? I get that complete list of all the menu items I could create. I get that back, and for instance I want to make it not a normal article link, but I can make it a contact. And I would choose a normal standard contact layout, and I can change my article name or a link name. Of course you need to have a contact in your Joomla, but this is the demonstration installation, so there is already a contact. I click on apply. I will click the home button first, and then, as you can see in my test menu, contact changed. And all of a sudden my article became a complete contact form. And of course that we can do for all the things that are in there. So say that I want it to become a news feed, and just a single feed layout. Select feed, I will use one here. These are feeds that have been put in by default. I go to home again. And fetching this might take a bit longer, but now it has become a feed menu. If I change my type again and say that I want to create a poll menu, choose the poll layout, then I get a menu to select a poll, and there's one poll already in there. Joomla is used for. I will rename my menu item, click on home again. Now we can see it changed to poll, and we have a certain poll now. And as you can see, the poll leads to the results of the poll. It's not that you can how to say use the poll itself, because that's done in a module, the poll module. I will change the type again. I'll change it to search, and I will go through the list. Use search areas, yes. Show created date, yes. We'll leave these on global. I'll remove that one and remove that one. I click on apply. Has been changed to search. And now our menu item has become a search page, so I can use that and search for test. And then we get the results at the bottom of that. I change the type once again. I will change it to user. What can we do with a user? We can say that we want to show it the login layout, so we get when we click on the link we get the login page. We can also use it for our registration layout, or for a password reminder, or a reset. Or we can use the default user layout with a greeting message, or the form layout to change your account details. And these last two, of course, you need to be a registered user for that. So let's say we want to use the registration layout, and we could, change the title into registration and click on apply. There it is, my registration, and now my menu link has become a registration page. I'll use change type again. Web links. Do I want a web link category layout or a list layout or a submission? Well, let's say we use submission. Call the menu submit web link. Click on apply. Submit web link. As you can see, I need to be authorized, which means I need to be a registered member. So I'll log in, because not everyone is allowed to just put new web links in. Submit web link. I'm logged in now, and I can start submitting a web link in the categories we already have. And of course, very important, where I choose change type and then use a different type, for each menu you get that same list, so you can also create every new item you want. We'll use wrapper. Need to click wrapper again. Then we need to fill in the URL, so I'll use a Google search page. We can set the scroll bars to automatic, the width and the height. What else can we do? Auto height, auto add, and again the same, the page title, and say use Google and show it on yes. I'll click on apply here. Click home to refresh the page again and use wrapper page. And now you can see the page title use Google, and all of a sudden we have a Google search page on our website, and I will use test as a search, and you can see that we get every result in there, but you can also see that we get a scroll bar within a scroll bar. So use wrappers wisely, because they tend to not look so good in your website, but they can be very convenient. I'll change the type again. External link. And then alias I'll leave empty, and here of course we need to fill in the link, so I'll use google.com again. And be very aware that if I use external links, I will go out of my website. So you'll leave the website you're in and you are out. We can of course use on click open in, and we could say, you know what, I want people to go outside my website but with a new window and no buttons to go back. So we could choose a new window without browser navigation. That is of course a convenient trick to keep people in your website. Let them open a new window, not pop-ups but new windows. And if I then use the external link, you can see that my back and forward buttons are gone. All my things are gone. And basically once I'm done here, what I will do as a normal user is close this one, and hey, I'm back again in my website. So use that not to lose people from your website. I'll change the type again and use separator. What this does is it makes a separation, and you can give it a title and say that my separator needs to look like that. So say that you have one menu and you want a separation between that and then your next menu. That is what it will do. And as you can see, it just made those separation things and there's no link attached or anything. And then the last in our list, alias, we can create an alias to an already existing menu item. So I will say alias of home. I will choose my menu item home. There. Now click on apply. So this is my home page. If I now click on alias of home, I should get the same page, and it looks like nothing changed, but it has now become an alias of my home page. I'll change it back to articles again, and I now want to show you how to say a category block layout. And in the parameters, I need to choose my category, of course, so I'll use frequently asked questions. A category has a description, and you can decide to hide or show that. I want to show that, and the category also has or can have an image, and I will turn that on to show. And these settings are very important, and I often see websites they're how to say break out of pages because they use columns where their articles basically do not or are not written to fit nicely into columns. But I'll click on apply and see what that does. There's my category. I misspelled it. As you can see, it opens that new window because my settings were saved as I left them with the previous setting. On click, open in parent window with browser navigation, and let me correct this spelling error. I click on apply. Now it should go properly again. General, that's the title. This is the how to say category description. So if I go back to this and say I want to hide the description and refresh my page, you can see that that part was removed. Then we have leading 1. This is the leading article. Leading means it will show full width. No matter how many columns we set, if we have one leading article, the top article will be full width. Then we have intro, which means it will show 1, 2, 3, 4 under the leading article. It has 2 columns. Well, that's very clear. 1, 2, with above that the leading article, and it has 4 links. Links are shown under the more articles, as you can see there. If I would say I only want 2 links and click on apply and refresh my page, under more articles there are only 2 links. As we previously saw in the article where we set pagination, this is the pagination, so it still has another page, and we can turn that on or off. When you have a blog layout, I would certainly advise you to leave it on. 2 columns, as we've seen. I will turn my leading into 0 and see what happens. We'll go back to my previous page. As you can see, there's no full width articles. It starts right away in the columns. I want to have one column, so I've changed that. And now we can see our complete layout changed, and it is now showing in one column layout. This is something that will occur frequently. Sometimes a columned layout with 2 columns is very nice. Sometimes you have pictures in it, or and then you might run into some problems in viewing it correctly. Often columns give you a hard time in setting up a good page or a good looking page. So be aware that in the category block layout you can play around with those columns. Then the parameters advanced. We have a category chosen, and we can set a certain order. We can show the listing alphabetically, or reverse alphabetic, or order. What is order? The order is how the articles are listed in our content section. We will get to that later. Primary order, and that is category order again, and when we say order it will use the primary order. So here we have a few more. So we can say that the order is most recent first, or author, or most hits, etc. Multi-column order, there's a slight difference between how it then shows the columns. Pagination, as we mentioned, I can turn that on hide. When I refresh my page, it then doesn't have the pagination where I can jump to 1 or 2, but it does show the results, page 1 or 2. So it shows the results, and when I hide the results as well, it doesn't even show 1 or 2. Of course, not advisable in a blog. So I will turn those on again. Then the component, same as we saw in the article, we can set to show the article link, yes, or use global. Title linkable, that would be convenient in a blog. So I click on apply and refresh my pages. And there you can see that now the how do I install Joomla is clickable, and I can see the full article instead of having it shown in the blog. And would I have read more actions in my articles, it would be even more convenient. One little thing I will tell you already. I will click on save so that I can choose my menus. We see use global. Where can we set those global settings? For that we go to content and we go to article manager, and then in the top bar we have parameters, and those are the global configuration of those parameters. So here you see that same list back again, and here you can set the global, say that I want globally for every new article or every new menu I make, I want to always have the title linkable, or I always want to have my icons hidden. I can set that globally here, click on save, and then for every setting in my menu, sorry, we'll go back to the test menu. For every setting in the component parameters where it uses use global, it uses the settings from the Content Article Manager parameters. So that is a must know, that you know what are the global settings. So that means you wouldn't need to change it on a menu base. If you have one preferred overall setting, you should go to Content Article Manager and change the parameters there and then save it. For now, I will leave the menu item manager alone. It was a very extensive part, but we're still not there, and during these tutorials I will get back to certain settings, but now you have a global overview of what is possible there. But again, we will get back to more menu settings during this video tutorial.